Shimon, Rabbi Eliezer was journeying to visit his father-in-law, Rabbi Yaisi. Welcome, Moshe, another one of our new white belt members. Pleasure to have you. We're doing Zohar Introduction 12. Most people get it completely wrong. So the Zohar Introduction 12 starts off that Rabbi Eliezer is journeying to visit his father-in-law, Rabbi Yaisi, the son of Rabbi Shimon, the son of Lakunya. He was accompanied by Rabbi Abba, and another man was leading their carrier donkey behind them. So said Rabbi Abba, let us open a discourse on the Torah, the time and the place being especially aligned. Just like now, the time and the place is especially aligned for those of you who showed up today. Let us open up a discourse on the Torah, for now, the time and the place being propitiously aligned. Psach Rabbi Eliezer v'aymer v'yikra yutas lamed. So we're going to Psach Rabbi Eliezer opens on the verse, right? Vayikra Yud-Tes Lamed is Leviticus, the third of the 5 books of Moses. Yud-Tes is chapter 19, and Lamed is sentence 30, pasuk 30. Es Shabosai Tishmeri. So this is the verse we're going to focus on. A very famous verse in the Bible where God says, "Ye shall keep my Shabbases," plural. Not Shabbos 1, but Shabbos 2. Something doesn't add up here, guys, because the way I was taught, there's only one Shabbos. Right? Something's very wrong. Why does it say Shabbosot? Plural. 2 Shabbosos. So that's one very good, very important question that right away we're left completely bewildered. Rabbi Eliezer thus began, it's written, "You shall keep my Shabbosos." Consider this, the Holy One, blessed be He, created the world in 6 days. But wait, how do I do 6? Oh, 6, right. In 6 days. On the 7th day, He rested. Welcome to those who are just joining. Zohar Introduction 12. Rabbi Eliezer said, "It is written, you shall keep my Shabboses," plural. Not Shabbat, but my Shabbosot. Consider this, okay? What do we learn? The Holy One, blessed be He, created the world in 6 days, and each day revealed a part of His work and functioned through the energy imparted to it. But none of the work was actually disclosed, nor the energy functioning, until the 4th day. The first 3 days were undisclosed, imperceptible even. But when the 4th day came, the product and the energy of all of them was brought into the open. So we're going to learn something very deep here. So the first 3 days, like potential energy, not brought down into reality, but the 4th day made it actually bring it down. Why? So first of all, why? So the 4th day came the product and the energy, all of them, who brought out the first 3 days into the open and actualized the potential of the first 3 days. Fire, water, and air. V'da eisha umaya v'rucha. For fire, water, and air, the 3 primordial elements were still in suspense. They were in a frozen state. Their activity not becoming visible until the earth disclosed them, and so made knowable the workmanship of each one of them. Welcome to those who are just joining. We're going to do Zohar Introduction 12. Most people have no idea what it's talking about, but you are going to know if you stick around. So the Zohar continues. You may object, by the way, you can throw in a counter argument that says that in the account of the 3rd day it is written, "Let us put forth grass," as well as, "and the earth put forth." The answer is that though ascribed to the 3rd day, this actually took place on the 4th day. And it was included in the account of the 3rd day only to indicate the unbroken continuity of creation. How delightful. You guys catch that? Very good. Now from the 4th day onwards, He disclosed His work and produced an artificer for the function of each one. Don't ask me what artificer means. I have no idea. For the 4th day, maybe somebody knows what the word artificer means. Please tell me. That's Artificer. I don't know. It's a new word to me. Maybe they meant to say artifice, and then they added an R as a typo. So for the function of each one, for the fourth day is the symbol of the fourth leg of the celestial throne. Right? So casual, but what we just said is amazing, right? You guys catch that? From the fourth day onwards, he disclosed his work and produced an artificer for the function of each one. Whatever artificer means, I still have no idea, guys. For the function of each one, for the fourth day is the symbol of the fourth leg of the celestial throne. Okay, but what's important is that for the fourth day is the symbol of the fourth leg of the celestial throne. Really cool. So furthermore, the activities of all the days, whether the first or the second triad, right? Because there's the first 3 days, the second 3 days, and then the seventh day is the Shabbat. So you have the first triad, the second triad, and then the Shabbat. So the activities of these days, whether we want to talk about the first cluster of 3 days or the second cluster of 3 days, were made dependent. Everything is reliant on Shabbos. So whether you talk about Sunday through Tuesday, whether you talk about Tuesday through Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they all rely on Shabbos. As is written, and on the seventh day, God finished, finito. This is the Shabbos, and this is the fourth foot of the celestial throne. Baruch Hashem, wow. The Zohar is not coming to play. The Zohar is not coming to play. We're going to get deep into the mystic content of the Zohar. And it's definitely not a stream of information, it's structure. And we'll get into that. So now, what then, you may ask, is implied in my Shabbos you shall observe. Not my Shabbos is. The answer is Friday night and the Shabbos day. So you have two. Okay, so it shows that it's a 2-for-1 special. You get the Friday night, the holiness of the Friday night, and then the amazingness of Saturday day. And it's all considered one Shabbat, but yet keep my Shabbatot, my Friday night and my Shabbos day. Okay? So I want you guys to take that as a takeaway. But God willing. So, to move forward, and the answer is that why Shabbosai? Shabbatot, because Friday night, Shabbos day. Very good. We're just getting started, too. According to our AI summary, we are analyzing the Zohar's 12th chapter on the creation of the world. Very good, my friend. Thank you. Very good. I should hire this AI assistant as, well, my assistant. What then, you may ask, is implied in my Shabbosot you shall observe, which seems to point to 2 Shabboses, so Friday night and Shabbos day, right? Saturday day, Friday night. Which merge into each other with no break. You notice how Friday night seamlessly transitions into Saturday day the second that the clock strikes midnight? And there's no break in between Friday night and Saturday. So the Zohar Introduction 12 is saying, why in Leviticus does God say, keep my 2 Shabbats, but there's only 1 7th day? So the Zohar answers, don't worry. Friday nights and Shabbos day. And by the way, notice how they merge into each other with no break. Amar lahu, hahuteya deheva teyin brasi. So at this point, the driver who was following them interposed with the question, what is meant by, and ye shall revere my mishkan, you shall revere my sanctuary? Rabbi Abba replied, this designates the sanctity of the Shabbos. Okay, fine. But what then, he said, is the sanctity of the Shabbos? It's the sanctity which was conferred upon it from above. If that is so, argued the stranger, then you make the Shabbos possess no sanctity of its own. It's not Abraham who talked to the burning bush, it was Moses. You might want to double check your facts, man. Okay. So it's the sanctity of the Shabbos. So it's the sanctity which was conferred upon it from above. If that is so, argued the stranger, then you make Shabbos possess no sanctity of its own. So you're making the Shabbos borrow authority you're making the Shabbos possess no sanctity on its own, but only as what rests on it from above, meaning borrowed authority. So it's a problem. Okay? Fine. So, what then, he said, is the sanctity of the Shabbos? It's the sanctity which was conferred upon it from above. But then, he said, it's a problem. Because you make the Shabbos possess no sanctity of above. So what do we learn? It is indeed so, said Rabbi Abba, as it is written, and call the Shabbos a delight, and the holy of the Lord honorable. Isaiah 58:13. Where the Shabbos and the holy of the Lord, and we'll take questions at the end, guys, don't worry. And the Shabbos, a delight, the holy of the Lord, honorable, Isaiah 58:13, where the Shabbos and the holy of the Lord are mentioned each separately. So, what then is the holy of the Lord? It's the holiness which descends from above and rests on it. Psh, wow. But wait, argued the stranger. There's a problem. What's the problem? The problem is as follows. If the holiness emanating from on high is called honorable, like you say, then that would make the Shabbos itself, chas v'shalom, not called so. And yet it is written, and you shall honor it. Because the stranger is saying, if it's the holiness which descends from above, then it's not honorable. It's only borrowing the honor from heaven. Evidently, the Shabbos itself is not so called, yet it is written, and you shall honor it. So it says, Rabbi Eliezer to Abba, cease arguing with this man. for he seems to know some mystery of which we are ignorant. Then they said to him, say what you will say to us. Teach us the wisdom that you have. So he says, don't mind if I do, actually. He commenced thus. It is written, Et Shabbotai, my Shabbos is Leviticus 19:30. So, and it says Et Shabbosai, right? Et. How do you say this in English? When you put a prefix, right? When you put the prefix et, indicates that it is the precept of the Shabbos to be included within the limit of the Shabbos walk. Because according to the guidebook of the Jewish law, on the seventh day, you're not allowed to walk more than 2,000 cubit amot in any direction, northwest, east, or south. Which, by the way, spells out news. North, east, west, and south spells out news. But that's nothing to do with the Zohar. That's just an interesting fact. He commenced thus. It is written, Et Shabbotai, my Shabbos is Leviticus 19:30. The particle et indicates that is the precept of Shabbos is to be included in the limit of the Shabbos walk. You're not allowed to walk more than 2,000 amos outside the city. So no intercity travel on Shabbat. Even on foot. Let alone, obviously, no caravan. Obviously, no car. Duh. But even on foot, 2,000 amos in any direction is the particle et. So this is et Shabbotai. My Shabbos is my et. My means 2,000 amos in any direction. Okay, Baruch Hashem. Very good. Very good. Alright, so welcome to those who are just joining. We are learning Zohar Introduction 12, a very, very mystical, intense, and wondrous holy work. And I just exited the window out on my computer, so bear with me while I fix the technical difficulty. Zohar Introduction. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol niyeh bidvar. Okay, great. So, what did we learn? Hidden before revealed. The architecture of perception. Keter, the root for tonight. Reality is not what you think it is. You are not experiencing reality itself. You are experiencing your access to it. Okay, and we'll explain what this means. All questions will be answered only at the last few minutes of the class. In 15 minutes, not before then. The Keter root for tonight. Reality is not what you think it is. You're experiencing a version, the way that you see reality through a lens, not the real deal itself. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. Welcome to our yellow belt member, Hope. Welcome to Zohar Introduction 12. The Keter root for tonight. That reality is not what you think it is. You're experiencing a version of reality the way your brain perceives it. The Chachma, the flash of insight for tonight, is that in the beginning of the Zohar, we say, let's open the openings of the Torah. What does this mean? That not the Torah is not like some book that you just flip through, you just read through, blah, blah, blah. You flip the pages, you flip, 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 you flop, 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 flippity, flippity, flop, floppity, flippity, flip. No. It's not some book that you just flip and flop. The Torah, let's open the openings of the Torah. It's a journey. It's a mystical journey of self-mastery and knowledge of God. This is something that is not a book, it's a journey. You travel through the Torah, and it improves your personality. It's not random information. So the Bina structure for tonight? Just notice how we move down. Keter, Chachma, now Bina. Bina is where structure begins, okay? Bina is basically IQ, is the left side of the brain, is the mathematical portion of the brain. Is structure, is, class is at a certain time. It's not, at 4 p.m. It's not at 8 p.m. It's structure. It's at a time. That's Bina. Structure. Chachma is like, oh great, as long as the class is good, I could give it at 2 in the morning. As long as it's a dope class and everybody loves it, what's the problem? I could teach a class at 3:30 a.m. But that's not structure. That's Chachma, the original flash of insight. Now our Bina for tonight is where structure begins. Torah starts on the road. You journey to Torah. You travel to the rabbi. You travel to your friend. You travel to learn life's lessons. Life is a journey of learning. Life is Torah. And when you travel on the road, the Torah teaches you. So it's not a book. It is a road, a journey. What is our da'at for tonight? How do we integrate our chachma and our bina into knowledge? Because what do you get when you take chachma, the initial flash of insight, and add it into bina, which is the structured intellectual framework for it? You get the child, right? When man and women get together, you get the child, which is the da'at, the knowledge, which is the offspring between masculine wisdom and feminine structure. Welcome to everybody who's just joining. It's so good to have you. So we're learning Introduction to Zohar 12. Now chesed, what's the kindness for tonight? Chesed is the kindness. When Hashem, when God seems to give you a hug, when something seems to just go so right in your life, when you meet the right teacher, when you meet the right class, and you seem to click into a group that you really love. That's like Hashem's chesed. The right hand of Hashem pulls you in for a hug. Ah, Hashem, please give me one hug. That's all I want from you, God. One hug from God is life-changing. So that's the chesed for tonight, that there's 3 hidden days, right? Because remember, we said the first 3 days of creation were nothing until the 4th day actually made it legit. The first 3 days were ad potentia. We're forever floating, and the 4th day is what actually made it all manifest physically, according to Zohar Introduction 12. And yeah, it's a deep teaching. It's very curious. It's very, very curious, and there's a lot more to go into. Baruch Hashem. There's no shortage of material to go through. I promise you that much, guys. Now, Chesed, the Gevura, is the stringency. So after God gives you a gift, sometimes He gives you a correction, a little spank. This is to keep you in a good path, to prevent dangerous situations. God is looking out for you. It may look like strict left-hand justice, but really, even in the justice, it's really God protecting you with His left hand. So we did Keter, Chachma, Bina, Dat, Chesed, Gevura, Tiferes. So Tiferet is where we balance everything together. So we take our Keter insight, our Chachma, our Bina, our Das from class tonight. And if you were here throughout the whole class, you're able to put all these pieces together. And if you're having any difficulties, make sure to write in the group, and we're all here to support you. We're a team. If you have any questions on the material, we have the white belt group, private white belt group, exclusively for our white belt members. So you feel free to ask questions on the material. No judgment. We love to guide. He's like, why learn Kabbalah in your basement when you can learn with a wonderful circle of your peers? No basement Kabbalah. We don't do basement Kabbalah. Come learn with a circle of your peers. Baruch Hashem. So Netzachot. So we're starting to put all these pieces together. There's 10 puzzle pieces to tonight's class, If you're having trouble putting some of these pieces together, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm not expecting anybody, unless you're a super duper genius, I'm not expecting anybody to be able to put together 10 puzzle pieces of this class together on the first shot. If you do that, I would be shocked, because it's not human. So don't be afraid if you have questions and you need help putting the puzzle pieces together. What was our keter from tonight? What was our chachma? What was our bina? How did we balance it with teferes, right? Anywho, now let's move on to netzach, the endurance for tonight. Revelation takes time, okay? Don't expect to get rich overnight in Kabbalah, okay? Fair enough, guys? I promise you that you can make tremendous progress and you can change the world, but you have to have patience. It's not going to happen overnight. All these movements, think about like even non-Jewish companies that are really successful, Microsoft, Tesla, or whatever, for example. Do you know how many years Microsoft took to actually launch? Bill Gates started in his garage. For years, nobody took him seriously. This stuff takes time. Don't expect to conquer the Kabbalah in one night, because it's not going to work, right? But if you show up consistently, it works. It's one of those things. So what's our netzach? Consistency beats intensity. This is something we teach at KU all the time. Consistency beats intensity. That's why we have class at the same time every day, Monday through Thursday. You notice how I don't switch to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Notice how I don't switch to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Because that's the binah, the structure of the class, is that it has a space point in time space. Not earlier, not later. So, consistency, you come, the first class might not make sense. You might be like, what the heck is this guy talking about? Honestly, that's a good thing. If that's what you're thinking, that's what I would expect, because this is like PhD level material. I mean, it's I'm not gonna lie to you guys. This stuff. I mean, there are PhD programs that teach this stuff in Jerusalem University and Yeshiva University and Toro University. There are master's degrees that cover this material, and they don't even cover a fraction. Not even a fraction. If you guys actually, it's okay though, Baruch Hashem. But it's Baruch Hashem. So consistency over intensity. So you show up to the first class, you might not understand what's going on, but then the second class, it starts to click a little more. The third class is starting to come together, and so on and so forth. And before you realize it, you turn around and it's already a year or two later, and you're already teaching your own students. But it doesn't happen overnight, okay? So put in the time, put in the work, and reap the results. Now, our hod for tonight, okay? And hod is humility. It lies on the left hip of the Sephirotic man. The left hip of Adam Kadmon, the original man. Because in the Kabbalah, you basically can imagine like a figure of a human being, right? Keter's up here. Chachma, Bina, Dat. Chesed, Gvur, Tefes. Netzach is the right hip. And hod is the left hip, right? Hod is also related to humility, okay? If you think like Netzach would be to conquer, then Hod would be to surrender. Right? Notice how these are male and female counterbalancing forces that together they allow you to end up with a middle balance. Very good. We're almost done, and then we're going to take questions from everybody. Yesod. Honestly, one of the most important sfirot. Yesod is the sexual organ, and this is why is it so important in Kabbalah? Because the reproduction organ is, first of all, how human beings continuously keep God alive. Not keep God alive, because of course God is always alive, duh. But you know what I'm saying? We propagate the species. We keep doing God's work on this earth. But I can only live up to a certain amount of years. So I find a woman, have a child. This child, I teach him my ways, and he continues in my legacy. So this is the power of Yesod. When all of the top spheros come together, the Keter, the Chachma, Bina, Das, Chesed, Gevura, Netzach, etc., etc., all of that gets integrated into the sexual organ. That's why sexual energy is so is considered like the main the main force, almost basically the central, most powerful force or energy. They say is sexual energy, because it can cause the reproduction of a brand new human life. So what's our yesod for tonight? A 3-stage process. You go from hidden to built to revealed. Everything follows a process. Okay. That's why we don't do get rich quick. We don't do become a prophet overnight. This stuff takes years. Most people will never become a prophet. In fact, these days it's almost impossible. But you can still become a tremendously huge Torah scholar. You can still make the world unrecognizable. You yourself can make the world unrecognizable. It's just going to take a lot of time and effort, but you can do it. And you got to start somewhere, and that's what this class is. Yesod is the integration of everything that we covered so far. It's where everything gathers together into the reproductive center of the human body. And finally, it allows us to take all the top spheros, put it through the sexual organ, and deliver it to the divine feminine, or the human feminine, which is the malchut, the receptacle, the vessel, the receiving force. The feminine, right, who receives the male, who receives the life force of male energy and the kedusha and the holiness of the Torah. Through the power of Yesod, through the sexual organs. We see that there's a metaphor, there's a deep metaphor here, if you guys are catching it, that society these days, they run around and they turned sexual relations into something that is basically surface level, with hookup culture and all of this stuff that's going on, unfortunately. And it's not good, and the Torah does not like it, and it's icky, and it makes somebody unable to see clearly in the Torah. It can poison the mind, distort the vision, because the sexual energy is so pure. Now, when you find a wife, and if you have a union of God, can you imagine what kind of power? So it's like, remember when we learned last time in Introduction 11, we learned that the female demon, right, hops up, seizes the word, creates the false heaven, right? You guys remember, of course. How can you forget Zohar Introduction 11? The female harlot leaps up, hundreds of parseings, grabs the word from the false student, creates a false heaven. That's what happens when sexual energy is misused, aka hookup culture, clubs, Greek culture, Athens, Rome. Flip side, imagine how you can elevate the world with a holy union. So for every damage you could do on the demonic side, imagine how much elevation you could do on the holy side. Like Rabbi Nachman of Breslov says, if you believe you can damage, then believe you can repair. And that's basically the end, because Malchus is the application, is where we end off. Look at your life differently. What is forming that you don't yet see? What's right around the corner for you? That's not quite here, but it's right around the corner. Imagine it. because it might be closer than you think, as long as you do the proper work. Just because you don't see it yet doesn't mean that it's not already built. So keep coming to class. Keep coming, keep showing up, and keep working. Call to action. Guys, I'm going to have to ask everybody to join the yellow belt cohort. And there's a very specific reason why I must ask you to join. Because the amazing value that you will receive, a structured monthly program where you learn Kabbalah not as random information, as a way, a systematic way of processing reality and a system of thinking. Furthermore, you learn how to apply our Chachma Bina Da'at framework on how to solve real life problems that you are facing at this moment. Personalized guidance on how to directly overcome those issues using the frameworks of the Kabbalah and peer support in the cohort. Build discipline, perception, and clarity for your life. Participate in live guided classes and exercises. These are the public, this is the public free class, but we also have a private Zoom class as well for our cohort members. If you want a smaller entry point, we also have the white belt starter kit for under $20. So you don't have to spend hundreds of dollars, although it's definitely worth it. But if you want to start small, we have a white belt starter kit, which is basically a mini version of the whole system. Gives you everything you need to know on how to actually start and orient for under $20. It used to be a different price. The price has changed. That's fine. Just like life changes, right? Every day is a brand new day. So a simple introduction, and the white belt is a simple introduction to the core framework and concepts. So whoever wants to join, comment and message white belt right here, right now, or cohort. White belt or cohort, depending on what you want, what you feel like you're ready for. And now is the time of the class where we will take, I think we have time for one or two questions that are directly related to Kabbalah and spirituality. Or we could just hang out for a minute or two. So I'll say it one more time. The way that you join the white belt or cohort is you message white belt or cohort. Drop it in the comments based on which program you want. Now, is there going to be a question, or are we going to close for tonight? No problem, no problem. I got you, I got you. I'm processing too. What, you think I know the whole Zohar? No, not even close. This material is profound beyond profound. Psh. Baruch Hashem. Okay, great. So it looks like there's no questions. So I'll see everybody tomorrow at the same time. And I'll tell you one last time, make sure to join the cohort by messaging me cohort. And if you want to join white belt, message me white belt. Is that clear? I'm trying to figure out if there's a way I can make it any more clear. I want to make it, obviously my goal is to make it as clear as possible. My job is clarity. My job is clarity, but I believe that I made it as clear as possible. I mean, I'm not sure if there's another level of, to make it more clear. If you want to join the cohort, you write comment cohort. If you want to join white belt, comment white belt. Baruch Hashem, I would love to do the Zoom lives. I would love to have you in the Zoom lives. And I will reach out accordingly. So here's what we're going to do. Before I end the live, I'm going to take 2 minutes to close my eyes, and I invite everybody to do this with me as well. Close your eyes and take a very nice, comfortable, relaxed posture in your chair, or lying down is acceptable too, whatever is more comfortable for you. Take a good old nice deep breath for me. Not for me. And feel the loving embrace of the Divine Feminine. Feel the wonderful warmth of the light of the Zohar that we covered in tonight's class. Feel the warmth and the light and the love from the teacher to the students, and from the students to the teacher, and from the teacher to Hashem, and from the students to Hashem, and from Hashem to the teacher, and from Hashem to the students. May God grant us all a wonderful transmission of mystic wisdom and a wonderful understanding of the Zohar. And I'll take a moment to just breathe deep, take a nice breath. And allow yourself to feel the residual lights. Because we all know that the Torah is the light that shines upon my eyeballs, says the verse. Without the Torah, there's no light. With the Torah, there's only light. And darkness is but an illusion, my friend. Especially when you're involved with the Torah of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. All right. So I'll see everybody tomorrow, which is going to be Tuesday, at the same time. Which is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Thursday. So we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 public classes, And then the cohort, you get access to the private Zoom. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow at the same time. Stay fresh. Thanks.